But Trump just amplified it to tens of millions of people who were watching. Why push something that's not true?
Well, first of all, city officials have not said it's not true. They've said they don't have all the evidence.
They said they have no evidence.
We've heard from a number of constituents on the ground, Kaitlan, who both firsthand and secondhand reports saying this stuff is happening. So they very clearly, meaning the people on the ground dealing with this, think that it is happening. And I think that it's important for journalists to actually get on the ground and uncover this stuff for themselves when you have a lot of people saying, my pets are being abducted, or geese at the city pond are being abducted and slaughtered right in front of us. This is crazy stuff. And
that's Trump running mate JD Vance schooling CNN host and paid Democrat shill Kaitlan Collins on the media's disinterest in covering the effects of their open border policies. Welcome to Nerk News. I'm Nerkish, and it looks like establishment media is still reeling from Trump's 3-on-1 presidential debate, where he not only had to contend with a woman lying and mugging for the camera, but also 2 moderators permitting her to do so while changing the rules to desperately fact-check him in real time. Which means that apparently it's fine for Harris to lie about things like the "find people on both sides" hoax, but Trump can't say something they don't like about 20,000 Haitians shipped to Ohio.
I would say is he brought up this misleading false claim that you yourself have talked about in recent days about Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, abducting people's pets and eating them, which officials there have said is not true. You yourself acknowledged it may be false on Twitter. You still told people to keep spreading it.
Again, whether those exact rumors turn out to be mostly true, somewhat true, whatever the case may be, Kaitlan, this town has been ravaged by 20,000 migrants coming in. Healthcare costs are up. Housing costs are up. Communicable diseases like HIV and TB have skyrocketed in this small Ohio town. This is what Kamala Harris's border policies have done. And I think it's interesting, Kaitlan, that the media didn't care about the carnage wrought by these policies until we turned it into a meme about cats. And that speaks to the media's failure to care about what's going on in these communities. If we have to meme about it to get the media to care, we're going to keep on doing it because the media should care about what's going on.
I saw you say.
You know, one of the things I find so frustrating about establishment media is how they'll mock or intentionally gaslight people about the insane clown world problems Democrats create. I mean, it reminds me of in 2019 when Dennis Prager said men can't menstruate on Bill Maher, and the entire panel and audience ridiculed him and tried to make it seem like he was insane because they were either woefully ignorant on the subject or purposely lying about it. Then, 5 years later, Bill Maher is doing monologues about the insanity of gender ideology.
I saw you say that. I think the media does care about it. I just read a very lengthy report in the New York Times on it. PBS NewsHour did a whole story on it. But can I ask you?
Us talking about it and bringing it up. Nobody cared about this until we raised this issue.
Senator, you talked about that your office has gotten a lot of reports. I mean, if someone calls your office and says they saw Bigfoot, that doesn't mean they saw Bigfoot. Why? I mean, you have a sense of responsibility as a running mate, and he certainly does as the candidate to not promote false information, right?
Kaitlan, it's a totally fair point, but nobody's calling my office and saying that they saw Bigfoot. What they're calling and saying is we're seeing migrants kidnap our dogs and cats, and city officials aren't doing anything about it. Now, again, I have a responsibility as a United States Senator. I think the media has a responsibility as an institution that cares about truth to actually take people seriously when they say their lives have been ruined by this migrant crisis. And again, if every single thing that the media says about this story is false, the verifiable facts are that this community has had their lives destroyed by 20,000 migrants coming in and uprooting life.
I'll be the first to admit that Haitians eating animals in Ohio sounds crazy, but that's because it is crazy. A lot of the stuff the left does is crazy. Just look at what's going on in the streets of every major liberal city in America. Something sounding crazy doesn't mean it can't be true. There's police reports, videos, and testimonies about this at city meetings. Meetings, by the way, with city officials who've already shown that they're hospitable to Haitians. But instead of actually looking into this, the media would rather not only try to dismiss Trump's claims, but the claims of residents who live there. All to push some tired attack about these being conspiracies or criticisms being problematic for members of the community, just like they did during COVID.
What do you say to Haitian Americans and Haitian immigrants who say spreading false claims about them put their lives at risk?
Well, I don't think that No one has spread false claims. What they've said is that a small migrant community, 20,000, so it's big for the city of Springfield, but it's small compared to all Haitians in the United States of America, that small migrant community has caused a lot of problems. It's led to higher rates of communicable diseases. That's a verifiable fact. It's led to animals disappearing. Many of my constituents have said that has been happening. It's led to higher home prices. That is a verifiable fact. So this influx has led to a lot of
But you said that immigrants
in
have
Springfield.
eaten
No, let me
animals,
finish. Let me
and city officials
finish
have said
the
that
question.
that's not
Excuse me.
true.
City officials have said that's not true. That's not actually accurate. What they've said.
Springfield
is
city
that
manager said there's no evidence that immigrants are eating animals, and you have been saying, and Donald Trump just said on stage that they are eating animals.
Would you like me to answer the question, or
Yes,
would you
I'm
like to keep
asking you.
interrupting me?
I'm asking you. What
Can you answer
go
the
ahead.
question? Can you ask the question and then let me answer it?
Yes,
the
please.
city manager said there's no verifiable evidence. A lot of residents on the ground have said that there is. That just means the city manager, I think, isn't fully in touch with what's going on the ground there. I've heard from many of my own constituents who have seen these things with their own eyes, who have seen these abductions with their own eyes, who have seen geese being taken out of local parks and slaughtered in front of their eyes. What do I think is a bigger problem? Insulting 20,000 people, or the fact that my constituents can't live a good life because Kamala Harris opened the border? I think it's Kamala Harris needs to do her job.
A lot of these Haitian
and make
immigrants
people
have
happier
moved
and healthier in this country.
A lot of Haitian immigrants have moved.
That's right, don't complain about the negative effects of tens of thousands of foreigners flown into your community without your consent, because it may increase negative feelings towards them, and we wouldn't want that. I mean, after all, that's why the left misreports crime stat demographics and hides surveillance videos, because the truth about what's really going on, or the catastrophic failures of these liberal policies, might give people the wrong idea about Democrats being competent. But let me know what you think. How do you feel about Trump and Vance bringing this issue up? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!